Today I'm going to share with you 5 patterns I've ditched as a woman over 40 with ADHD, and I haven't looked back. Now you might be expecting me to share hacks or tips or tricks that have kept me more organized. Nope. I'm going to share with you some fundamental changes I made to my life that have allowed me to go from hard mode, where I was constantly just trying to survive by fitting into a neurotypical box, to easy mode, where now I have a life and a schedule that works for me. Here's the best part, ladies. Not only am I now happier, but this approach has allowed me to be more productive even though I am less busy. It's like magic, okay? If you're new here, I'm Tiff. I'm a neuroscience professor, I'm a mom of 2, and I was diagnosed with ADHD 4 years ago at the age of 37. Now, I'm on a mission to share the approaches that have helped me balance a demanding career and family and even dig out of severe burnout, because I wanted to help other women with ADHD like you transform their lives from feeling overwhelmed, scattered, and unmotivated to empowered, energetic, confident, and free, so that you can build a life you love that is working in harmony with your brain. And these are the topics that I go even more in depth with the women in my program, the ADHD Success Lab. So let's dive in. Number 1, I eliminated the word should from my vocabulary and from my schedule. So what do I mean by this? Well, I used to pack my calendar absolutely to the brim with no intention or organization whatsoever. I thought, I'm keeping a calendar, right? That's a win when you have ADHD. If someone asked me for time, I was like, sure, and I gave them the first available open spot on my calendar. I thought I should be available for any request anyone had. I thought doing more was better. I thought being more available was better. This meant I didn't schedule any downtimes or big blocks of time to do the deep work that was actually going to make me successful, where I'm actually feeling fulfilled because I'm thinking about science and coming up with really creative ideas, or big chunks of time to spend, even with my family or my friends. So the end result of this was that I was putting everyone else ahead of myself, not thinking about what I needed from my time, and I burned out super bad. So I decided to eliminate the word should and all the obligations I felt about how my schedule should be, and imagined what a schedule that I would enjoy might actually look like. And I just got rid of all the rules and all the shoulds. This is magic. In the end, I arranged my calendar in a flexible, ideal week format. And this works flexibly for me on repeat. And if things go off the rails, it's really easy to come back to, and it doesn't require a lot of maintenance, which is my favorite kind of thing. This will look different for everyone else, but that's the beauty of the ideal week. When you get rid of the shoulds, you start to imagine why you were actually doing things in this way versus that way. And you start to realize there aren't as many rules as you think there are. Now, if you want to try to do this for yourself, I have a link in the description. You can get a template for yourself completely free and build your own ideal week. And let me know how it goes. Here's number 2. I stopped feeling guilty for having limits. Now, let's think about this for 1 second. We look at this cup of water. If this cup were full of water, would we shame the cup for being full of water? No, ladies, we would not shame the cup for being full of water, because the cup has a capacity. Now, here's the thing. You also have a capacity. Now, it may not be as visible as a cup, but you also have limits, and you need to respect them, and there is no reason to shame yourself for having them. You wouldn't shame the cup. Why would you shame yourself? Because you are the glass. When you are full, you literally can't hold more. It's going to start to spill over the edges, and life is going to get messy. I feel like ADHDers are even more willing to push our limits because I think we are less aware of our limits, and we also are really bad at boundaries a lot of times, because boundaries mean inconveniencing other people, and we just feel really uncomfortable at the idea of inconveniencing another human being. So I used to feel guilty for being tired or for needing a break. And what I started to do was just push through, because I thought I should be able to just push through. Now, turns out when you push through over and over and over again, what happens? Burnout. Burnout sucks, guys. I don't want that for you. So in the end, I accepted that I have limits, because we all do. Feels paradoxical, but not operating at your limits all the time really just does make you a more effective, happier, and more productive human. Okay, so that was number 2. Here's number 3. Number 3 was huge. I stopped using recovery as a reward for being productive. So let me explain what that means. The idea that rest and recovery should be a reward for productivity is actually backwards, like big nope to this concept. And we've all done it. We've all said, as soon as I get these things done, then I will rest. Once in a while, sure, fine, that's great. However, if you keep putting off resting and recovering because you're not being productive, you're going to find you don't have the energy to be productive, which means you never get what you need to get done, which means you never rest or recover, which means your energy just gets drained, you're always operating at capacity, and you get totally burned out and overwhelmed. Recovery, fun, connection, rest, these are actually mandatory. I would argue they are even more important than productivity because they are actually required for you to have the energy to be productive. It can feel illicit and make you feel guilty for taking time to rest when there is so much to do. Here's the thing, ladies. This is life. There will always be so much to do. If you don't have the energy to do it, you are just going to be miserable and feel ashamed by how you're not getting anything done. The shame is a whole nother topic that we're not going to go into today that really shouldn't be there. But at the end of the day, to get things done, you actually need to rest and recover. What I started to do was block off time to do this, take time when I needed it, and make that time sacred, no matter how much I got done. So the productivity and whether or not you get to rest are completely unrelated to each other. Even if you're not productive, you take that time to rest. Because if you don't have the energy to do what you need to do, that is a signal from your brain that it is time to rest. And it's important to honor those signals before it's too late. Related to this, number 4, I got a new definition of productivity that I personally love. So I used to think productivity just meant how much stuff can I get done? The more I get done, the more productive I am. I would find that I was super duper busy every single day, and I would find that nothing that seemed important was actually done by the end of the day. Tell me if you identify with this, because this was me literally every day. I felt really busy, but I have no idea what I did. And the to-do lists, they never end, guys. This is life. You're just going to keep adding. It's infinite. That's a little bit demoralizing, right? This never-ending to-do list, it leads to burnout. And so then I would try to maximize the efficiency so I could do more quickly, and I could just squeeze more into the day because then I was getting more stuff done. I was being more productive. This, of course, led to burnout because when you are operating at max efficiency and packing everything in, you are constantly sprinting. And life, my friends, life is a marathon, not a sprint. You cannot sprint a marathon. Sprints are meant to be done in bursts. They're not meant to be a constant pace. So here's the definition I came up with instead. My new definition is now, did I get the important things done? So what I do now is I pick a weekly big 3 off of my to-do list, and I pick a daily big 3 each day that I want to work toward. And if I get those 3 things checked off my list each day, then I've had a super productive day. If by the end of the week, I have made the progress I wanted on my weekly big 3, I've had a super productive week. If I don't get it all done, that's also okay. I can roll things over. I try not to make it mean anything about me as a human being. The best part about the big 3 is that they are finite and achievable. Instead of 100 things on my to-do list every day, there are 3 things on my to-do list. And when those get done, I feel really good because those were 3 important things on my to-do list. Because it forced me to prioritize what to do. Forcing myself to do this actually taught me that prioritizing, though very difficult for an ADHD brain, is something that I could learn to do. It is a skill I could build, and it's a skill you can build too. You would be surprised how much you can actually say no to, and the world doesn't end, and people are okay with it. I now love saying no. I used to never say no to anything, ever, at all. So that's number 4. Here's number 5. And this is such an important one for women with ADHD. I stopped putting myself last. This is so hard. Because chances are, if you're a woman with ADHD, this has just become second nature to you. A lot of the women I speak to felt like they didn't even know who they were anymore because they were always putting their needs, their wants, their desires after everyone else. So I used to do everything for everyone else first. And I would think, as soon as I get through these things, then I will do that thing I want to do. The problem is, there was never an end to the requests. They just keep coming in. So it keeps bumping back that time when you can see that you're going to get any time for yourself. And honestly, it almost never comes, right? And if you really want to know what was the kicker for me, it was one day I was looking at my daughter who's very centered on what everyone else needs and what makes everyone else happy. This triggers me a little bit. But I realized when she grows up and she's 40 someday, I don't want her spending her entire life looking out for everyone else, feeling miserable and not meeting her own needs. And so now I think of it as I'm setting an example of a healthy person who has their own needs, loves their family and makes time for them, and has that balance, and I want to permit her to have that balance for herself. So maybe that will help you, because that was just a complete mindset shift for me. And now I don't feel guilty about it, because I realize I'm also teaching my kids how to take care of themselves in the way that I hope they do someday when they are adults. So now I schedule time to meet my needs. So now I block these times on my calendar and I make it sacred to show up for those things, because that's what I need to feel fulfilled, to have my mental health intact, and to just be a better human. Because let me tell you, when I was so burned out, I wasn't able to be there for the people that I loved anyway. So by putting everyone else first and putting myself last, I ended up not being able to show up for anyone, myself or them. And you'll find you can actually do more when your needs are being met. Essentially, your cup gets bigger if you're meeting your needs. So you have more capacity and you're happier. If you found these valuable, subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. You can watch this video next to hear what I learned from interviewing 50 women with ADHD about their struggles.